The fertilizer industry does not want you to know this. And I mean that literally. There are billion-dollar companies whose entire business model collapses if enough people figure out what I'm about to show you. Because what I'm going to walk you through today is not some fringe idea cooked up in somebody's backyard. This is a farming system that fed millions of people for thousands of years, developed in Korea, refined over generations, and quietly buried the moment chemical fertilizers became profitable. It's called Korean natural farming, and the core of it, the secret weapon at the heart of the whole thing, is something called IMO, indigenous microorganisms. And once you understand what it is and what it does, you will never look at a bag of synthetic fertilizer the same way again. I want to be real with you for a second before we get into it. I used to buy fertilizer. I used to walk into the garden center, grab whatever the bag said was good for vegetables, and dump it in my beds. And my plants grew. They looked fine. But I kept noticing something every single year. I had to buy more every single year. The soil didn't seem to be getting better. It was like I was renting my fertility instead of building it. And then I started digging into KNF, and I realized I had been doing it completely backwards.
Your soil is not just dirt. I know you probably already know that, but I want you to really sit with it for a second. Healthy soil is one of the most complex living ecosystems on the planet. We're talking billions, and I mean billions, of microorganisms in a single handful. Bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, actinomycetes. These organisms are not passengers. They are the engine. They break down organic matter and release nutrients in forms your plants can actually absorb. They build soil structure so roots can penetrate and water can move. They protect plants from disease. They communicate with plant root systems in ways scientists are still trying to fully understand. This web of life is what makes soil fertile, not nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium out of a bag. And here's the thing that should make you angry. When you apply synthetic fertilizers, especially nitrogen-heavy ones, you are not feeding this web. You are bypassing it. You're essentially hooking your plants up to an IV drip and cutting them off from the root system they evolved to depend on. Short term, the plants respond. They grow fast. They look green. But the microbial community underneath starts to collapse because it's no longer needed. The organic matter depletes. The soil structure degrades. And now you need more fertilizer next year just to get the same result. That's not farming, that's dependency. And the industry built a business model around it. Korean natural farming says no. It says the fertility you need already exists. In your soil, in the forest floor, in the air, in the microbes that have been quietly doing this work since long before humans started messing with it. Your job isn't to manufacture fertility and pour it in. Your job is to cultivate what's already there and put it to work. That is the entire philosophy, and IMO is how you do it. So what exactly is IMO? IMO stands for indigenous microorganisms. And the reason the word indigenous matters so much is because these are not microbes from a lab. They're not cultured in some factory and freeze-dried into a packet. These are the microbes that are already living in your specific ecosystem, in your local forest, in your local soil, adapted to your specific climate and environment. And that distinction is massive. Because when you inoculate your soil with organisms that evolved somewhere else, they often struggle to survive. They don't know your soil chemistry. They don't know your climate. They might persist for a little while and then fade out. But when you culture the microbes that are already thriving in the woods 50 feet from your garden, those organisms are already built for where you are. You're not introducing something foreign. You're amplifying something native. And the way you collect them is almost embarrassingly simple. This is the part that I think genuinely blows people's minds when they first encounter KNF, because it sounds too easy. But this is the tradition that Korean farmers figured out and passed down for centuries. Here's what you do. You take a wooden box. A simple wooden box, no metal, no plastic. You fill it with cooked rice. Plain cooked rice, no salt, nothing added. And you take that box out into the woods. You want to find a spot where the forest floor is rich and dark. Old hardwoods are ideal. Spots where leaves have been decomposing for years, where you can smell that deep earthy smell that means the fungal network is healthy and thriving. You set your box down, you bury it slightly in the leaf litter, and you cover it with leaves and debris. And then you walk away for 5 to 7 days. What happens in that box over those days is remarkable. The cooked rice is a perfect growth medium. It's got starch, it's got moisture, it's got surface area, and the microorganisms living in that forest floor, the bacteria, the fungi, the actinomycetes, they colonize it. When you come back, You're going to open that box and you'll see white or light-colored mycelium covering the rice. Not green, not black. Those are contamination colors and you toss it if you see that. But that white, cottony, earthy-smelling mycelium, that's exactly what you want. You've just collected a concentrated sample of the living microbial community from your local forest ecosystem. You've captured the intelligence of your land in a box. Now you have to multiply it. Because right now you've got a small amount of inoculant. Enough to work with in the lab, not enough to treat your garden, so you feed it. You take your colonized rice, put it in a container, and you mix it with raw sugar or molasses at roughly a 1-to-1 ratio by weight. The sugar draws out the moisture through osmosis and preserves the microbial community in a stable, concentrated form. This becomes what KNF practitioners call IMO2. It will keep for a very long time if stored properly. And from IMO2, you continue building. You mix it with bran or other carbonaceous materials to create IMO3, and then eventually IMO4, which is the finished product you apply to your soil and your compost. Each stage is about multiplying the population and adapting it to progressively more garden-like conditions. By the time you get to IMO4, you've got a massive, thriving community of locally adapted microorganisms ready to go to work in your beds. And when you apply it, when you introduce that microbial population into your soil, what happens over the following weeks is nothing short of soil transformation. Organic matter starts breaking down faster. Nutrients become more bioavailable. The soil starts to develop that crumbly aggregated structure that gardeners spend years chasing. Plants start pulling minerals from the soil that they couldn't access before because the microbial pipeline that delivers them is finally functioning the way it's supposed to. And here's what really gets me. Here's what makes me legitimately fired up about this. You collected those microbes from your own land. You fed them with sugar and rice and bran, some of the cheapest materials on earth. You multiplied them over a few weeks. And now you have more biological fertility than any bag of fertilizer could ever give you, because you're not just adding nutrients, you're restoring the system that creates nutrients. Over and over again, indefinitely, for free. Let's talk about what this actually looks like in practice for a real garden. Because I don't want this to stay theoretical. When I started applying KNF inputs to my beds, one of the first things I noticed was how the soil changed physically. Not the plant growth first, the soil itself. It started developing that structure, that tilth, where you can push your hand into it and it's got that soft, airy quality instead of that dense, compacted feel. And that structure happened faster than any compost application I'd ever done on its own, because the microbes are building that structure from the inside out. They're producing the compounds and the biological glue that binds soil particles into aggregates. That's not something you can buy in a bag. That is biology doing what biology does when you stop suppressing it. The plants, once that system got rolling, grew differently. And I don't mean just bigger or greener. I mean more resilient, more robust. I started seeing fewer pest pressure issues by fewer disease problems. Because one of the things a thriving soil microbiome does is outcompete the pathogenic organisms. When the good guys are winning the numbers game, the bad guys don't get a foothold. And that's another thing the fertilizer and pesticide industry would rather you not connect. Now I want to address something, because there's always a version of this conversation that comes up when people first encounter KNF. And it goes something like, okay, but does it actually work as well? Can you really replace synthetic fertilizer with this and get the same yields? And my answer is yes, but that's actually the wrong question. Because the goal isn't to match what synthetic fertilizer does. The goal is to build something synthetic fertilizer can never build. A living soil that gets more fertile every year instead of less. A garden that requires fewer and fewer inputs over time instead of more. A system that is genuinely self-sustaining, because the organisms you've cultivated are reproducing, cycling nutrients, building organic matter, and feeding your plants as a natural consequence of doing what they do. That's not a fair comparison with synthetic fertilizer. That's a completely different paradigm. And the thing is, this isn't even new information. This is what traditional farming looked like before chemical agriculture was developed and aggressively marketed in the mid-20th century. Korean natural farming is just one regional tradition. You see similar principles in Japanese natural farming, in indigenous agricultural systems around the world, in biodynamic farming, in the work of people like Masanobu Fukuoka. The understanding that the soil is alive and that your job as a farmer is to work with that life, that was the default for most of human agricultural history. We traded it for a shortcut that turned out to have a very expensive long-term price tag. So here's what I want you to take away from this today. If you are buying fertilizer every spring, if you are on that treadmill, you have an off-ramp. It takes some time to set up, it takes some learning, it takes a willingness to think about your garden differently. But the knowledge is accessible, the materials are almost free, and the results are real. You can collect microbes from your own forest floor. You can culture them on rice and sugar. You can apply them to your soil and watch what happens. And you can start this spring right now, before your garden season gets going, and have IMO4 ready to go into your beds by planting time. I'm going to be documenting this whole process on the channel this season, collecting IMO, building through the stages, applying it, and showing you what the soil and the plants look like as the season progresses. So, if you want to follow along with the actual practice and not just the theory, make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell so you don't miss any of it. The industry buried this because it's free. Don't let it stay buried.